Now let's go and check out the other parts of this elevation and see if it matches perfectly with the AutoCAD plan, and if there's any mistakes, we're going to fix them. Alright, so now the first thing we might notice is this part over here, where as you can see, these mullions are supposed to go all the way up, but we can see that that's not what happened here. Or for example, on this middle part here, we're going to be needing a door, which has not been considered, but for now we're not going to be focusing on the doors. We are going to place some as samples, but that's not our priority. Now, where even is this area? This is actually the project's terrace. So for example, if I check this one's level, it's actually for the second floor. Also, if I try to open the second floor's floor plan, we can see that the terrace is over here. As you can tell by these elements, these are for the terrace area. Okay, so now you might think to yourself that you could just draw these curtain walls all the way up, but that wouldn't be correct. Why is that? Because I've drawn these curtain walls straight up. Alright, so if I try to make them higher for this part, then it won't work for this area. So the best option is to draw separate curtain walls for the terrace, and to in fact give them a different elevation from the others. So basically you would have to create a different curtain wall type for the terrace, which is what we're going to do. First I'm going to go over here and try to measure the height, for instance, or I could just try and check the type of these curtain walls. This one right here is in fact a curtain wall that's been divided into 1 meters, so that goes for the ones on the upper floor. So I'm going to go over here and measure the distance from here to here and see that it's 1 meter. So we have 1 meter for the spacing. So I'm going to go over here and choose the 1 meter facade. Then I'm going to go over here and start drawing. And go all the way down here. So there's 1 row, and now we've got the horizontal row. And even though we might not be able to see it in the elevation, we still have it. Okay, now I'm going to grab the align tool. Then I'm going to align these two together so that they're along the same line. And then I'm going to go over to this side and then align this one with this one. Okay, so now this mullion is in its right place, and the only thing we need to do is to remove these two. So first we're going to need to unpin them and then delete. In fact, it would be better if we tried to place corner mullions for these areas, so they would completely match the ones from the AutoCAD plan. Now as for the ones on this side, we can see that there's some distance between them. So first I'll select this one, unpin it, then delete. Okay, now the first thing is that I'm going to change the justification. For instance, I'm going to set it to end, and then I'm going to check the mullions and see that they are still not in the right places. It didn't work on beginning, so now I'm going to try the center and still see that the distances aren't fixed. So the thing that we're going to have to do for this part is as following. You see, if you couldn't fix it by changing the justification, then you might want to edit the offset. As we can see over here, these mullions are at a fixed distance from where they need to be. As we can tell that all the distances are the same. So if I try to measure this distance here, then I could see that, for example, from here to here is this long. Now if I take this value and then go over here, select the curtain wall, then go over to the properties palette for the vertical mullions or the vertical grids, and paste that length for the offset, do you see what happens? All the mullions will fall into their right places. Do you see that? Only we're going to need to double check and see if we've got another mullion like this. And it looks like this one is not needed. So remember, if changing the justification didn't solve the problem of the distance of the mullions from their correct places, then you'll have to change their offsets. That is on the condition that the distances are all fixed. For example, just like the curtain walls we have in this project. When you've got fixed distances between the mullions, your first option is changing the justification to fix it, and the second is the offset. So keep this one point in mind. So far everything's aligned and in its right place. Now I'm going to go over here to the elevation view, and so far we've drawn the curtain walls on here. I'm going to go to the plan, select that curtain wall, then back to the elevation, and here is our curtain wall. Now how high should this one be? It should go up to here, up to this magenta line. Do you see that? It goes up to here. So that's this part's curtain walls. You can see everything's in order and organized, and they are all along the same grids. Now you could do the same thing for this upper part as well, as in you would go to the 3rd floor, then go over here and draw the mullions. So I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna set the curtain wall type to the 200 centimeter elevation. Then I'm gonna start drawing from here down to the end of the line, which is the spot. And then I'm gonna go to the right and stop here, and there we go.